What's up, y'all? Let's look at DoorDash chart. Now let's go down. They beat the first two and they missed the last two, and they currently have earnings coming up on April 30th, 2026. The technicals is a sell and the analyst rating is a buy, and we like to see that divergence, and that's a bullish divergence. And they have a 1-year price target of 257.29, and they're currently 155.90. That's a 65% upside. Now let's look at the charts. We're currently on the weekly. Now DoorDash is currently testing this 200 cloud, which is its 200 EMA, but on our wolf chart, this is our 200 cloud. And if we go back, this is his first time testing the 200 cloud. But also you can see here where, you might think like, oh, why there's no 200 cloud here, is because they went public in December 2020 and they haven't logged in 200 weeks of being a publicly traded company until October 1st, which is right here of September 30th, and that's the week of October 1st. So since we're on the weekly, we're looking back 200 weeks. If it's on a daily, it'll be 200 days, and if it's on the 4-hour, it'll be 204 hours. But since we're on the weekly, they haven't logged in 200 weeks of being a publicly traded company until right here. So now we're coming right here, and this is their first time testing this 200 cloud. Now, if we look, they're trying to do an inverse arc on the weekly time frame. They came down here to previous month low, previous day low, previous week low is all crowded up right here at this 143.79 area. We tapped it twice, so that can be considered a double bottom, and we popped up. Now, if we go to the 1 day, you can see a little bit more clear. We do have our inverse arc. We have our inverse arc with our lock candle right here. Full body and wick not touching the WTMA. Now the next step is to reclaim the 12 cloud, which is this red cloud right here. We want to open and close, full body and wick not touching. Now we'll turn this from red to blue. And then our targets would be the previous day high right here at 159.86. And then we'll go to the top of this WTMA cloud of 166.35. And then we can start hitting these historical resistance. This is a smaller one, so we'll probably come here, 175.54. And we'll come up to this one, a 181.35. Now let's turn our VRVP on. Now that we have our VRVP on, now we can see right here, this previous day high lines up with this node right here. We can actually mark this out. That lines up with this node. And we go to our WTMA, the top of our WTMA cloud. That lines up with this right here. But we're gonna move to this one since this is the higher node. This will probably be the next level. And we have this like empty area right here. So we'll probably move to this one. We're looking at our nodes. This one will have this historical resistance right here, which is empty nodes. We'll tap this one, which is barely anything, but it's nodes right here. Here, we'll test this, which you can see it's lining up right here with our WTMA. It's lining up right with our arc. And then we'll test this historical resistance right here. This is the roadmap for DoorDash, is to go up. And if we even look at these nodes right here, this in between area, we have this node, and we have this node. Make sure we get that, this node. There we go. Now that we see a roadmap on the levels that DoorDash can hit to the upside, ultimately to go test this bearish order block right here on the daily time frame. Now let's go to the 4 hour. And you see that is good because it lines up within this bearish order block on the 4 hour. We actually tested this bearish order block. We pushed up, price tapped this level, and it came down and closed under this bearish order block. We already have our inverse arc. We already reclaimed our 12 cloud. Now this is on smaller time frames. We're just diving deeper into the charts right now. 4 hour is letting us know that smart money is buying. They're buying. 4 hour is looking into the daily, and it's showing us that smart money is buying right now. We've seen on the weekly that they're testing their 200 cloud for the first time, and that is a prime position for institutions to buy a great stock in a great company. So the 4 hours just letting us know that they're buying. We got our inverse arc, we got our lock candle, we reclaimed our 12 and came right here and consolidated. And we closed right here under previous week high. Now, if we see the levels that we marked out, it matches up with our bearish order block and this bearish order block. It tapped this when we drew this out on the daily, and we dropped down to the 4 hour, and it tapped it. It's also a previous day high. So it tapped previous day high, and it's going to hit here, hit here. It might do another buy side liquidity sweep, which is poke his head above this zone and close back down. And ultimately go up here, get rejected, since this will be the first time it's testing it, and just chop and make his way up slowly but for surely. So for DoorDash, testing the 200 cloud for the first time, this is a good area to buy some shares at. I'm liking DoorDash at this level. And we can even see past these nodes on the weekly. We're going to hit 183. You see this empty node right here to 200. If we ever can get back up over here to previous month high, we can push past previous month high. So if we close over 186.38 on the weekly time frame, we could push all the way to 206.31. That's a big gap on the weekly time frame. And ultimately, they want to get back to this bearish order block on the weekly at 220.96. So I'm liking DoorDash at this price. Now let's look at Meta. Let's go to the right. Now that we see that out of 4 earnings, they beat the first 2, they missed this one, the third one, by a big margin, and they beat this one. And they have earnings coming up on April 29, 2026. Now, if we go down, the technicals is a sell, and the analyst rating is a strong buy. And that divergence, once again, just like DoorDash, is a bullish divergence, and we like to see that. And their 1-year price target is 853.84. They're currently 575.05. So that's a 48% upside. Now let's look at Meta chart. Currently on the weekly, they're testing their 200 cloud just like DoorDash. And this is why I'm liking these stocks, because they're testing their 200 cloud. This is a perfect area to buy long-term shares because you're buying with smart money and you're buying where institutions like to buy. And we're also testing a weekly bullish order block right here. So you can see we tested this back in the lows of April right here. We actually got some sell side liquidity sweeps. And you can see from right here in April, it popped up all the way to 797. We end up coming right back down to this zone. Even at April lows, we never tested the 200 cloud. So now, a year later, we're testing the 200 cloud. If we go back, the last time they tested that 200 cloud was 2023, May of 2023. So it took them 3 years to test their 200 cloud. So this is a great opportunity to buy Meta. Not only are you buying at the 200, you're actually buying where smart money is sitting here waiting to buy. As you can see, every time they got down to this area, smart money bought a position and got their position and popped it up. What do you think they're going to do right here? They're going to get their position right here in a 200, a prime position, and this bullish order block, and push it up to test this bearish order block right here at 634. Now let's go to the daily. Now let's put our VRVP on. Now in our daily, we see we have an inverse arc with our lock candle, full body and wick not touching. The next stage that we want to see is for them to reclaim the 12 cloud, which is this red cloud right here. We want to see them close above this red cloud, full body and wick, which is also historical resistance. And then they're going to push up to this other historical resistance. So if Meta can close above 580.99, they're going to have a smooth push up to 599.96, damn near $600. And if we look at our VRVP, our nodes, it's empty nodes right here. So 595.32 and 595.96, that's not too far off. So we can see once they clear this level of this historical resistance, which is previous day high, once we get a candle full body and wick to close and dominate the resistance, you see there's empty nodes, and we're going to push right up to this other node right here and to push up to this historical resistance right here. Now if we draw this out, we got this node, this node. Let's just draw out all the nodes that we see that's sticking out. This node is already at the bearish order block, so I'm not going to draw that one. This one is sticking out far. Okay, see how I adjusted it? You always want the first candle that started the bearish order block. So we got a swing order block. We got a swing order block, which is a dark red, and an internal order block. So I'm going to do the internal order block first because that's the first one. And that still matches up with the nodes that we have. This node right here. This node right here. So they got at least $10, almost $10 in between these nodes right here. Let's move that. This node. This node. And right here. Trying to line up. We can say this one right here. We can say it's like this 619, 618 level. It's a little light right there, but it's sticking out a little bit. So on a daily, we see where Meta is going to hit on the upside. Once we clear this historical resistance, we're going to shoot to 595. We already got our inverse arc. We already made a fair value gap, which price already dipped into it and act as a trampoline. Smart money got their position. bought up, sold off a little bit, came back, got their position again. So they're springboarding ready to pop Meta up. Good news, anything good is going to push Meta up. We close and dominate our 12 cloud and dominate the historical resistance. We can push right up to this 595 and to this $600 level, and to make our way to this level all the way to test this internal order block. Now let's just look at the 4 hour. And you see how our 1 day levels are lining up. Now let's just get this one right here. We see on the 4 hour, we see that smart money is buying up Meta, because when a great company goes on sale, smart money will buy. And we already seen on the weekly that they're dipping into a weekly bullish order block, a weekly bullish swing order block. We literally stopped right here in the middle of these nodes. So we're going to push up to this 578, which is the top of this WTMA, probably push past that and try to retest previous day high. Once we do that, we're going to get to this 594 level right here, this next level, the 595 level. We're going to get here. And first, we got this previous week high. That's going to be a resistance. So we see that smart money's buying. Let's go back on the weekly. We see that smart money's buying at this 200 and at this bullish order block right here. And that's another reason why I like Meta, because they're at a great price at a great discount. Now the third one is Visa. We look to the right. They beat their last 4 earnings, and they also have earnings coming up on April 28th, 2026. If we look, the technicals is a sell, and the analyst rating is a strong buy. And like DoorDash and Meta, this is a bullish divergence, and we like to see this. And they have a 1-year price target of $399.36, and they're currently $302.55. So that's a 31% upside. Now, if we look at Visa chart, and we're on a weekly, Visa is also testing the 200 cloud. Like we said in the previous last 2 charts, this is a prime area for institutions and smart money to buy their positions, especially when it's a good company. And if we go back, the last time Visa tested the 200 was March 2023, the last time Visa tested their 200 cloud. Last time Visa tested their 200 was March of 2023. On our Wolf Chart 2.0, our 200 cloud consists of 3 200 moving averages: the 200 SMA, the 200 EMA, and the 200 WMA. This is a good time to buy Visa. Let's go to the daily. And just like DoorDash, let's put our VRVP on. Just like DoorDash and just like Meta, it's trying to create an inverse arc, which it did. We got an inverse arc right here for a lock candle, but it's also a doji candle. We test previous week high, we pass previous day high, and we close under this historical resistance, which is an internal bearish order block. So Visa is trying to come back, but we need to reclaim that 12 cloud, reclaim this historical resistance, and try to test the top of the WTMA. Let's look at the 4 hour. And they're also in a 4 hour bearish order block. But like we've seen on the weekly, they're at their 200 and they haven't been here since 3 years ago. And we know Visa is a great company. So we know that smart money is buying in the background, and any good news, they'll be buying up Visa. And you'll see them push past these order blocks. So we just sit right here. You can see this node. You can see a few nodes right here sticking out. So we see some levels that Visa want to go to. That lines up with this wick right here, lines up with the previous day high. Get on our daily. You see how those levels are right inside this historical resistance. So that's letting us know that there's volume right here. And if we just add a couple more, we can add this one up here. So this is just giving us an idea where Visa is going to push to. And all these levels of these nodes, they done wick to, or they done went to and pull back. So looking at the weekly, this is a great time to buy Visa. Let's line it up here. Let's see what our VRVP. Let's see what our VRVP is saying on the weekly time frame. If we get past 306 on the weekly, we can go to 313, to 317, to 327, 329, and you see these empty nodes right here. Once we get past right here, really up in here, because right here is really no nodes. Once we get past 328.42 on the weekly, they're going to go and try to test this bearish order block right here at 343. And this is why I like DoorDash, Meta, and Visa, because they're all three is testing their 200 cloud, a perfect area to buy, because you know you're buying with smart money and not buying against smart money. You want to buy with institutions and not against institutions. And you want to buy when they're buying. You don't want to buy when they're selling. You don't want to sell when they're buying. You want to buy when they're buying. That's how you know you're getting the best deal on a great company. If y'all like this breakdown, like, comment, and subscribe, and y'all have a good one. Peace out.